With all the wealth that billionaires have, you would think that they would be eager to pay their fair share of taxes, so that they can feel good about themselves. But in reality, these multimillionaires, and even those who are worth billions of dollars, try everything they can to not pay any taxes at all, or at least minimize them as much as possible. So just how do these individuals with sky-high net worths actually get away with this? Well, in today's video, we will take a look at how billionaires avoid paying taxes. But before we get started, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Jeff Bezos is one of the richest people on Earth, but he doesn't actually pay his fair share of taxes. The founder and former CEO of Amazon was once named the richest person on Earth, surpassing even Elon Musk. But Bezos has had a bit of a fall from grace recently. However, his net worth is still well over $100 billion. But it appears that Bezos may not be paying his fair share of taxes on that amount. According to Insider, Bezos paid no federal income tax in 2018, despite his massive wealth. How did he do it? Well, like many billionaires, Bezos took advantage of various deductions, credits, and other breaks to reduce his tax bill to zero. There are a lot of deductions available to people who own businesses, especially if those businesses are public. Bezos also likely took advantage of some of the more obvious tax strategies billionaires use, such as setting up complicated corporate structures to lower their tax bills. We don't know for sure how he did it since Bezos has not revealed exactly how he lowered his tax bill to zero. But we do know that it's legal. It's not illegal to minimize your tax bill. And that's what these billionaires do. They find every deduction and credit available to them, and then use them to their advantage. That's how Jeff Bezos managed to pay no federal income tax in 2018, despite being worth over $100 billion. Warren Buffett is another billionaire who has been accused of not paying his fair share of taxes. In fact, Warren Buffett has become famous for claiming that rich people like himself don't pay taxes. When asked why he doesn't pay taxes, Buffett has said, "Well, because I don't have to." This statement, of course, has caused a lot of outrage among people who believe that billionaires should pay their fair share of taxes. But Buffett is not alone. In recent years, several other billionaires have come forward and said that they don't pay taxes either. Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla and Twitter, has said that he pays no taxes in the United States. He does, however, pay taxes in other countries where he has companies. Of course, this doesn't mean that billionaires are completely tax-free. They still have to pay property taxes, sales taxes, and other miscellaneous taxes. But when it comes to income tax, it seems that billionaires are able to avoid paying it most of the time. How do they do it? Well, there are a few methods that billionaires use to avoid paying taxes. One is to set up offshore accounts in countries with low or no taxes. Another is to donate large sums of money to charity, which allows them to deduct those donations from their taxable income. Finally, many billionaires simply hire teams of accountants and lawyers who help them find every legal loophole possible to avoid paying taxes. For example, Elon Musk moved his primary residence to Texas, which has no state income tax. He also shifted some of his work responsibilities to Florida, which has a lower corporate tax rate than California. As a result, Musk's tax bill has reportedly dropped by millions of dollars each year. Sheldon Adelson was a billionaire who was very well known for his tax-dodging schemes. In fact, he was so successful at avoiding taxes that he was once called the world's greatest tax dodger by Forbes magazine. Adelson was a casino magnate who made most of his fortune in Las Vegas. But he expanded his empire to include hotels, golf courses, newspapers, and even a major political donor. Despite his vast wealth, Alderson paid little or no taxes for years by taking advantage of legal tax loopholes. He was eventually caught and forced to pay back millions of dollars in taxes, but that didn't stop him from continuing to dodge taxes for the rest of his life. Here are just a few of the ways that Sheldon Adelson avoided paying taxes. First, he took advantage of the tax-free status of certain types of income, such as capital gains and dividends. He also invested in tax-exempt bonds and donated money to charities that allowed him to write off those donations against his taxable income. Additionally, Ellison often used offshore accounts and trusts to hold his assets and avoid paying taxes in the United States. Probably the most controversial tax strategy that Ellison used was to set up a complex web of shell companies in order to avoid paying corporate income tax. By structuring his business in this way, Ellison was able to legally avoid paying millions of dollars in taxes each year. Although he was eventually caught and forced to pay back some of his ill-gotten gains, Alderson's tax-dodging schemes allowed him to keep the majority of his fortune over the years. Many billionaires take advantage of the fact that they are worth so much money that they can afford to hire the best accountants and lawyers. These professionals are experts at finding tax loopholes, and they work hard to make sure that their clients pay as little tax as possible. This is one of the reasons why billionaires are so successful at dodging taxes. They have the resources to hire the best professionals who can help them find every legal loophole possible to avoid paying taxes. Another reason billionaires are so good at dodging taxes is because they often live in countries with low or no taxes. For example, many billionaires have moved to Nevada in recent years, because it has no state income tax. Others have moved to Monaco or Switzerland because they have no taxes at all. By living in countries with favorable tax laws, billionaires are able to significantly reduce their tax burden. Finally, billionaires often use offshore accounts and trusts to hold their assets and avoid paying taxes. By setting up accounts in tax havens such as the Cayman Islands or Bermuda, billionaires can keep their money out of the IRS's reach. Trusts can also be used to avoid paying taxes by shifting assets away from the billionaire and into the trust. Once the assets are in the trust, they are typically taxed at a lower rate than if they were held directly by the billionaire. Overall, billionaires are able to dodge taxes through a combination of legal tax loopholes, favorable tax laws in the countries they live in, and offshore accounts and trusts. While these tax-dodging strategies are perfectly legal, they do allow billionaires to avoid paying their fair share of taxes. Most Americans pay an average of 30% of their income in taxes, but billionaires pay far less than that. In fact, according to a study by the Institute for Policy Studies, the average federal tax rate paid by the top 1% of earners was only 23.7% between 2010 and 2018. That means that billionaires are able to avoid paying around 7% of their income in taxes each year. That may not seem like a lot, but when you consider the fact that billionaires are worth hundreds of billions of dollars, it adds up to a lot of money. Do you agree that billionaires should pay their fair share of taxes? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more videos about the ultra-rich. See you next time.